Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Today it's going to be a match on match point. A little bit redundant, but it's going to be Light versus Horang2. Bottom left, it is our red Terran player Light, and in the top right, we've got ourselves a purple Protoss player. It is Horang2. I pronounced his name a little bit incorrectly last time I cast a game between him and another player, so I was corrected in the comments, so thank you very much for educating me on how to pronounce Korean names and Korean call signs that I've never actually heard before. So, Horang2, under a Smurf name, Bing-Su. This is, again, an RJB replay. If you haven't checked out RJB, go ahead and check him out at RJB TV. Just go ahead and search in your YouTube search bar RJB TV and you'll find him. Find Brood War content. Alright, so match point. I feel like I haven't cast the game on this map in a very, very long time, but... Oh, did I not actually click reveal the entire map? I didn't! Yeah, alright. So this is match point, which is a take on Benzene, I feel like. Starting out with Benzene. I know it's a Terran-favored map, so we'll have to see. Yeah, we're just going to have to see what Horang2 is going to be able to do here against Light, because Light, again, one of the gosh darn best Terran players in the world right now. This is a recent replay, 2019 match, I believe, according to the label that was on the replay that RJB sent over. We have 3 SCVs in here to deal with this probe. Are you kidding right now? Okay, I don't know that 3 is entirely necessary. 1 seems probably ample, but this is some pretty sick probe micro at the moment. Honestly, it is. Anyway, nothing crazy coming in back home, right? Gateway's done. Not making a zealot, not really bothering with it. Man. So, I mean, the harassment was real there. Probe's kind of done with it. 1 SCV's for scouting. That's why he was out here. And then this probe going for a little bit of a scout of its own. Sees no gas. That's good information to have. Sees no second barracks coming up back here, hiding at all. A second and a third barracks would be interesting for sure. But, nah. Just supply depots, a marine, an SCV in production, and a gas steal here from Horang2. Man, this is some aggressive probe stuff. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of amazing. And then, oh, gets caught up on that geyser a little bit, and is gonna die. Oh, the jukes, nope. Your jukes ran out. You are done. I'm sure there's some kind of a catchphrase that Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone has used in a situation like that, but I don't know what it would be, unfortunately. Anyway. Cybercore Singularity Charge coming in. Protoss pressure likely gonna be something that's happening here on yield match points, and the Marines are working their way through this assimilator. Super annoying. And actually, you know what? That is going to slow down his ability to get a factory up. So I kind of love that. The gas steal combined with the cyber core before expansion, getting singularity charge and making dragoons. I'm curious to know if he's going to make a second gateway here, because usually if you're doing this kind of pressure, a second gate is what you need to spend your money. Or if you're just going to expand. The lack of a second gate is telling me he's probably just going to expand, unless he wants a second gateway here, which is really aggressive. But again, considering these long-distance gas mining to try to get enough gas to get a factory up here is, it is interesting. This has got to be a second gate. Oh, a robo facility. Dang, Horang2 is doing all the aggression right now off of 1 base. So the Dragoon shows up, which Light expects. So he's got a bunch of Marines that are out of the barracks, so he can get some free shots off here. Dragoon doesn't take enough damage to actually lose any HP there. Shields are holding steady. Got an SCV coming up to the left. I don't know if you're trying to expand up here or what. That'd be a little bit, honestly, crazy for you to try to do. But I like this. SCV says, you don't have a second base. What is happening? What's going on? Where's your second gateway? Where is your third pylon? What are you doing? And the answer is robotics facility. Are we gonna Reaver drop? Okay, that was a little bit unnecessarily close to that bunker, I believe. Okay, so Dragoon takes down the SCV that was scouting, but the SCV got the information that it needed here. See, this is where usually you get a tank up, right? and he shut this down, but no, factory's not done yet, which means no tanks in production yet. This is amazing. So robotics bay coming up back home, but robotics facility is here, which is going to get scouted by an SCV. So great job by Light. The warning bells got off in his head, and he was like, okay, all right, I see what's happening here. Wait, hold on. What the? Okay. That was weird. I only did it once. Like on, off, on. Got it. Got it. So, okay. It's fair, I guess. 2 Dragoon shuttle shenanigaroonies. These Dragoons are firing on this bunker at the front. And a Reaver is on the way. Are we surprised by that? Not at all. Love that turret position, though. That's fantastic. Yeah, Dragoons dropping here, though, might be pretty awesome. Or, you know, whatever. Just right here, good, too. Taking down missile turrets. Making it so future attacks coming in on a shuttle are going to be a little bit better. That'd be fantastic. Stutter stepping here are the Dragoons, too. They're going to kill some SCVs. Volter's not going to do much against this, but Dragoons are focusing the SCV building the missile turret, actually. Yeah, he really wants the Reaver to be able to get in here. See this? The Dragoons are dead, but guess what? Reaver's not dead. Oh, hang on. Oh, it didn't get a shot. It did get a shot off. Okay. But then the shuttle died. The turret placements from Light were great right there. So a lot of SCVs died, though. We're down to 22 for Light, despite the fact that he's on 2 bases. He's continuing to have to repair this front because his tanks are busy dealing with stuff in his main, which is incredible. Is he making more Reavers is the question. Production tab says no. And there we go. Tank shows up. He's got siege mode. And finally, the Dragoons can stop firing on this bunker and not actually killing it. Incredible stuff. But yeah, turrets. Turrets, really the name of the game right now from Light. The reason he didn't take more damage from that is the turrets, despite losing a ton of SCVs, which he unfortunately did. Now, let's see what Horang2 is up to otherwise. He's obviously... There we go. So now making a Reaver. He's got a replacement shuttle for the one that died. Placements here are pretty good. You can't hit that. No way. The range of a Dragoon is not far enough to hit that. That is a really, really well-placed missile turret. Too far away for Dragoons to hit from the low ground, but not so far away that they don't actually, like, not so far back, right? That they don't actually cover the drop zone. So that's really well located. Because again, that's how Light plays the game, is through excellent decision-making and technical skill. So, go for more Reaver stuff. I don't know. Like against Terran, when they have siege tanks already, it seems like something of a fool's errand to give this a shot, but Horang2 has gotten some good damage thus far. He's probably encouraged by the number of SCVs he killed with that one hit. So he's going to go for round 2 here. And, missile turret misses it. Zealot comes down to take the initial hit. Reaver shot. Ooh, not bad. Not a bad Reaver shot. 33 SCVs. So annoying. So annoying to deal with. Like, even Light, who's look at this. Shuttle's got speed, and it's like, zoom. You guys are not as fast as I am. Takes down a Vulture for free. I mean, Scarabs aren't free, but nevertheless, pretty cheap exchange there, I would say. Actually, ooh, taking a big... Ooh, one more missile turret hit would have killed that shuttle. Gotta be a little bit careful on those angles, Horang2. I mean, he's expanded, so it's not like he's in a lot of trouble here. He's taking a 3rd base, too, before the Terran has his 3rd base rolling. So, I don't know. The aggression did slow down the Terran economy here. Horang2 did expand behind it. We've got a 3rd base on the way. So I think we've kind of settled into more of a standard PvT, where, again, the goal here for Horang2 is to kill the tanks, right? Try to get in here and just trade Dragoons for tanks as much as possible, so the tank count is not super duper ridiculously terrifyingly high when the time comes for a huge attack of, you know, siege tanks. There is a Stargate on the way from Horang2. Charon boosters on the way to deal with whatever comes out of that Stargate, probably Arbiters. And forward robotics facility is murderized. Replacement one's coming up back home for Horang2 though, so it's cool. Yeah, this is where the Dragoons kind of want to start jumping on top of tanks as they're unsieged. That Marine recognizes Dragoons are coming, reports that back to the homeland. Reaver shots. Oh, facing away. Facing away reduces the damage taken by a Reaver shot. And the further you are away from the Reaver when the thing explodes, that's also good. It's also good for you. Oof. Okay, so again, just getting what damage you can. Did that kill a ton of things? No, but it killed one thing, and that's great. You didn't lose anything, right? So sometimes that's what a free trade is as well. It's just you didn't lose any units to kill the unit you killed. It's great. You can just string those together, you know, 1 or 2 at a time for a 30-minute game. You're probably going to win the game. It would be a very slow, weird experience. Oh, fleet beacon. We have not seen the carriers tried against Terran for some time. I think that was Midas. It was a Midas game where we saw that attempted on the channel last time. So let's see how this goes, right? The question is, can you sneak it? Does the Terran player not know that you're going carriers and you catch them with their pants down, building a million tanks and vultures, which are not great? Or do they scout it and then suddenly they start pumping out, you know, multiple Goliaths at a time because they have the factories? Oh, if you're watching this and you're like, hey, there should be, why don't we make ghosts with a lockdown versus carriers? The answer to that is because you don't have a bunch of barracks in this situation, right? You have 1 barracks, and it's probably floating. And even if you land it, you gotta tech up to ghosts, right? And it's a lot of work to get there. You gotta make a lot of barracks if you're gonna make a lot of ghosts at a time. And it doesn't make any sense for Terran. If you want to see lockdown and ghosts used against carriers in a game, that's the Artosis game, the most recent Artosis game that I've cast. That posted earlier this week. If you missed that one, I recommend you go back and watch it. If you want to see lockdown and nukes and battle cruisers and carriers and all sorts of weird stuff, check that one out. Artosis called it the craziest game he has ever played. So if that means anything to you, check it out. Carriers on the way. Carrier capacity coming in. Production tab says Vulture speed, Spider Mine ability. No sign that Light recognizes what's happening here yet. And again, that's the thing about Protoss, is they can open with carriers. Oh, that probably scanned that? It did. It did scan it. Okay. So we saw the fleet beacon. Production tab says Goliath, go. Yeah. Beautiful scan there, catching that fleet beacon right at the right time. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, what it comes down to is the Protoss can pretty much go for carriers at any point, right? It's pretty easy for them to get up to just a couple Stargates here. They're probably making one anyway for Arbiters, which is not suspicious. But yeah, 4 Goliaths at a time. Light doing the more traditional response to carriers that we see. Because again, we've already got the factories. We already have the infrastructure. That's all you need, ladies and gentlemen. Glad we had this talk. Horang2 is expanding to the bottom right. Got a pylon on the top left here. Effectively, Light is on 3 bases, but he doesn't have 3 gas. Observer is not getting in here. Yeah, recognizes that missile turret is covering that gap perfectly. Might be able to squeeze in here, though. That looks like this is probably out of range of both of the missile turrets. That top one's a little bit close, though. So somewhere in here. Maybe. Oh, is that perfectly spaced so observers can't get in? Let's find out. Horang2, you're going to try it? I mean, obviously. So this is where the siege tanks... Ooh, lost a Reaver. That sucks. Ooh, big hit, though. Yeah, the tanks are kind of losing their utility. They're going to be pretty good for the next little bit here. But eventually, they're just going to get wiped out by the carriers, and there's nothing they can do about it. So what they need to do, I don't know, maybe clear out an army that's defending the 4th base. Maybe wipe out some Dragoons that are wandering around here, too. Oh, this Reaver is... Ooh, doing some work. Okay. All right, takes down a couple Goliaths. Not bad. I mean, that Reaver did some good stuff there for sure. Here we go. It's going to be ground versus ground and air. An absolutely chaotic scene here. Tanks firing, carriers firing away southern side with the Goliath or with the Dragoons attacking in, and wow, Light. There you go. This is what I was talking about. Light's going to lose these tanks. He's probably not going to make any more, but they had to get some kind of value. And they did kill a couple Dragoons there, which is great. But it's 149 to 104 supply. How many Goliaths do we have, Light? The answer is not a lot. Actually, not many at all. These vultures are trying to get some stuff done over here, but 3 cannons seems pretty ample. Okay, vultures are dying. That's not super great. Well, they covered that top one. Spider Mine's getting laid. Zealots coming up trying to deal with it or catching and triggering the Spider Mines. That's bad. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that 3 vultures is enough to get in here. Not even close. Alright, so ground army, it's not just carriers. We're making 8 dragoons at a time, too. This poor dragoon just gets caught out in the middle of a bad neighborhood and, like, shivved. Taken behind a convenience store and just stabbed right in the chest. Just the worst times. The worst possible times for that dragoon. The vultures are just like, well, can't really do much about the carriers, but let's, you know, develop some value here, right? Let's go ahead and throw down spider mines everywhere, make it harder for the ground units to move out for Horang2, etc., etc. He's trying to take this top left, but I do worry about 189 supply worth of Protoss just heading up that way and wiping it out, you know? Does he know? The thing is, does he know that it's there? He's clearing out spider mines. He's got the zealots. I feel like he's got a great avenue. Especially if he sends the carriers, right? To make sure this base doesn't happen, and then that's a pretty clear path towards winning this game. Ah, the carriers are busy at the main base trying to do some stuff. Okay, and got 4 of them. It's not a massive number of carriers by any stretch. Taking body hits from a missile turret here, friend. Like maybe... Okay. Missile turret down, ground army marching in. We made more tanks, look at that. Light made me a liar. Vulture's out. Light's going to push the effort here. He's like, I know you put a lot of resources into carriers. I mean, your ground army is not awesome. So let's go ahead and try to take down this 3rd base. This is a big deal right here. This, man, if Horang2 loses this base while Light takes the top left fort, that's going to be a humongous problem for the Protoss here. The carriers are like, can we see the Goliaths? They were waiting. Oh, gosh. They were lying in wait there. Oh, getting some... Oh, 2 of the carriers die. Now the Dragoons and Zealots are on their own to try to deal with this army. There's Goliath with a ton of DPS. They got 2 attack upgrades and +1 armor. It's only +1 armor for these gateway units. Because again, some of the upgrades are going to these carriers, right? Whereas Light, all he has to do is just get factory upgrades and everything's great for him. He doesn't have to worry about multiple sets of upgrades at all. This Nexus is dead. The 3rd base is done. Wow, the probe's evacuating this location. Carrier's coming in, but there's enough Goliaths with this army to cause you problems. Absolutely, yeah, that interceptor count is not nearly high enough to deal with it. Alright, Zealot, another huge round of Zealots coming in. The Spider Mines and the Vultures are here for them, though. Look at this. Oh, friendly fire hit there. That's, again, double-edged sword that are Spider Mines. Trying to just control the carriers as well as he can here and try to snipe off a couple of these tanks. Make life a little bit easier for the Dragoons. I don't know if that's actually working, though. The Dragoons are actually hanging on. They're doing all right. Okay, so again, it's 141 to 99 supply, where Horang2 has a massive lead in overall supply here. His army is substantially bigger. And I would honestly... He's got to know there's a base up here. He cannot assume that Light's on 3 bases at 18 minutes. That's just not how Light rolls. It would make no logical sense. So I'm really surprised he hasn't gone for it. There's nothing defending this base. There are no Goliaths here. There's no turrets here either. Oh, that snipe, though. The Goliath that peeled off from the group to come down this way and actually pick up the carriers was amazing. Incredible. Are you really not going to protect this base? It is not very close to where Light is stationing his units at all. Ooh, vultures. Wow, all 4 of them made it through there. Now 2 of them made it through there. Spider-Mine filled up again. Okay, so now the Goliaths are kind of protecting this top 4th. By that I mean they're trying to split the difference, right? They want to cover this base, the 3rd, and the 4th at the same time. Is that possible? I don't actually know. Templar Archives is on the way here from Horang2. don't know. I'm trying to figure out what are we looking at here. It's 159 to 175 supply. We've got 6 carriers here. It should be 8, but again, 2 of them died to a sneak attack by Goliath, which is what they like to do. Vultures being incredibly active for Light here. This is some honestly exceptional Vulture play. Once again, another Dragoon, wrong part of town. Destroyed. Carriers are trying to use this high ground, right, to disappear so that the Goliaths can't hit them in their bodies, right? This map has a few of those positions. It's not a perfect map for it, though. That is a lot of turrets. Like, maybe don't engage with that, yeah. 'Tis a silly place. We don't want to go to there. Goliaths are really trying to sneak up on these dudes, but they are being real careful. Exceptionally careful. Now, the problem for our Protoss player here is that he is on 4 bases, and the Terran is also on 4 bases. And being on even base in a PvT is not a good thing. Your carriers really need to be disgustingly cost efficient if you're going to do this. There are some High Templar coming in, and Storm's getting researched, so this is very hybrid out of Horang2, right? He doesn't have 12 carriers. He's got a bunch of Dragoons and Zealots and some High Templar with a bit of Storm in the mix as well. Zealots are here to clear out the spider minefields. Trying to drag as many of these as he can. He does get a big group of them, which is fantastic. Light just slowly marching across the middle of the map here, going for it again. This attempt at a base. Why are there SCVs down here? There's not a command center here. Okay, that feels like just a big mistake out of Light. Unless it was bait. It's like, hey, come on over. Ooh, DT in the mix. There's some free SCVs, and I'm going to get this high ground and destroy you. High Templar focused into death here. That's... Oh, he's alive. Oh, he's alive. Okay. Trying to do his best here with the carriers. Defensive matrix is up. Pulling back. Dragoons are doing great against these Vultures, getting some big-time shots off against the carriers, or against the Goliaths as well. They're not shooting their own carriers, probably. The stutter step here with the carriers is pretty amazing. The Goliaths are just getting big-time hit after big-time hit on that those carrier bodies. +3 attack for those guys. It is +3 attack, +2 armor, rather, for the Sky Toss. Just 1-1 for the ground. Again, if you're splitting upgrades, you can't really afford to do all the upgrades all the time. Not in a game like this. Not against somebody as good as Light is, at least. He's making 7 Goliaths at a time here. It's like the problem is the carriers. If we can handle the carriers, we're going to be just fine with everything else. Focusing down tanks. Not many Goliaths here on the front lines, but again, more should be reinforcing pretty shortly, and here they come to the left side. But tanks, bam, 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 and the Goliaths need to buy some attention here now, and it's just a back and forth. The problem is there's really Horang2's not been able to get a 5th base for some time. The 4th base timing was fantastic, it really was, but getting a 5th base is difficult on this map. It really is. Light's taking it, but it's so vulnerable to carrier attacks sitting back here and is wiping everything out while having vision is super hard to get. Once again, Horang2, I don't know, how interested is he in screwing with this? Because this base, Light hasn't had to invest any defense in this top left base at all. None. 0 whatsoever. So Light knows there's not a 5th base here from Horang2, because he's got an SCV scouting that position, which is fantastic. This is not looking good for Horang2. I'm just going to say that right now. Looking bad for him. Carriers in the fight. Defensive matrix on the siege tank. Oh, another carrier goes down. That carrier death sound is very memorable. Ooh, hear it anywhere. Can he actually break this? If he can wipe out this defensive army, which it looks like he certainly can, then he can march down and wipe out this 5th base of Light pretty easily. I mean, there are a few Goliaths. They're kind of regrouping, but also just bailing on this entirely. So Light fails 100% at securing his 5th base. He's going to lose a ton of SCVs. Once again, no defense here, no turrets invested whatsoever. Is Horang2 going to win this game? Like, again, I know you generally need more bases than the Terran, but if you're, you know, if you're using carriers that have 17, 12, 17 kills, 17, 12, 17, 11, then maybe you can make some better trades, and you don't need as many bases, right? Spider-Mine field getting cleared out by very frustrated and annoyed Dragoons here. Nom 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 nom. I don't know where these probes came from or why they're hanging out here, but some of them died. Is the probe going to try to take this base? That'd be amazing. I mean, at the very least, you would make Light deal with it, right? Gosh, this is crazy. This is a good match. RJB matches are always good. Recommended RJB games are always fantastic. They just are. Every time. RJB knows what the Brood War fans are looking for, that's for sure. Alright. This attempt to expand... Oh, this probe transfer. Worst probe transfer of all time. Quite possibly. We've seen a lot of bad probe transfers in our time, though, right? Horang2's up 148 to 122. Light is at 122 supply at 26 minutes. Like, that is... That's how you know this is a good game. This base gets canceled, I'm pretty sure, from Horang2. How many Spider-Mines have died in this game? A bajillion. Do Spider-Mine deaths count as unit deaths in the final score screen? Because if they do, I'm a little bit surprised by that. Hold up. Hold up. Armies are on separate corners of the map. It's going to be at least a base trade scenario, but this is mined out. Dude, these probes need to run north, like, right now. Guys, I know you just ran out of minerals and you're a little bit confused, but you gotta run. You guys... Okay, not running. Not running, and Light's top left base gets obliterated because, again, the armies are in the worst possible position to defend their own bases while killing the other bases. Okay, so the probes get out of there. This is a pretty meaningless base, as the 5th is coming up in the top here for Horang2, and a 5th got down here for Light. He managed to sneak this one. I don't know. I don't know. I think in a direct confrontation, it'd be really hard for either player to win right now. But see how many resources are left in this base from Light. Yeah, he needs this. He needs this base to win this game, and he got it. Which, again, is just a sign of how good of a player he is. That he was losing his 4th and got a 5th just in time to save his bananas. His bananas? That doesn't make any sense at all. To save the game, so he did not lose it. Both players' banks are non-existent. Ah, how did these probes not get the message to evacuate? Oh my gosh, they got spared. They got spared. Light has a merciful bone in his body. We saw it today. That's going to come back and bite you, because I bet he'll be able to re-expand here. I don't know that he will. He only has 1,000 gas in that Vespene Geyser. Is that worth 400 minerals at this stage of the game? Where you're making carriers and you need minerals to replace those interceptors? Probably not. I would say no. But yeah, look at this. Light really needs this base to survive, so guess where his army is? Covering it. Tanks in siege mode. Goliaths try and kill as many interceptors as they can, because they know every interceptor that gets replaced is fewer minerals available. Oh my gosh, that's so many Goliaths. Fewer minerals for interceptor replacements. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, he's just totally using that high ground to where you can't focus the carriers. It's brilliant play, but I mean, there are just too many Goliaths for the carriers to really be doing much in a direct engagement here. Yeah, it's carrier heavy now. Well, rather, maybe a little too Goliath heavy. Ooh, sneaking a base up here. What Light is up to. See, once again, like, they kind of come up, and then they disappear into the clouds, and they come up and they disappear into the clouds, into that fog of war. And your missiles are flying into the fog of war. You can't see where they're going at all. And, alright, maybe... Oh, good. Decent storm. Really, really good storm. Taking out 2 tanks. Okay, alright. Little victories here is going to be good for Horang2. But Light taking that 5th base and reestablishing his 4th is a major problem for the Protoss right now. Trying to kill these Goliaths without the siege tanks doing too much work here. Wow. Okay, fair enough. Just taking some body shots here, absolutely. The interceptor count seems really low. Okay, maybe it's not as low as I thought. He's making 5 at a time. The Dragoons are just walking into siege tank fire here because they know how important it is. And Light taps out. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, yeah. No, that's fair. Light taps out. Horang2 is your winner in 30 minutes and 29 seconds. I mean, okay, he had 2 Goliaths here. 2 Goliaths versus some ridiculously injured carriers. Like this one, right? The one I was just looking at is exactly 12 HP. One more hit from, like, I don't know, a Marine will kill it. But, yeah, these guys doing some work. Absolutely. So the tanks are all dead, which means the protection for the southern base is gone, and Light's bank is nothing. He's making 1 Goliath right now. He's just kind of reestablished the top left. He only has 24 SCVs total, and he recognizes, he sees the writing on the wall, right? Horang2's got 39 probes. He's working on 1 base. He's probably oversaturated here, but just army supply to army supply. There's no bank for either player, but when you have a giant army advantage, that's the game that you win. So impressive display out of Horang2. I was worried about him. Right? I was definitely worried about him. But in the end, the carrier control was honestly super impressive. Like, super mega impressive. The carrier's getting a ton of work there. Sniping off Goliaths, using high ground where you can. Again, a good map for high ground and little areas that the Fog of War is going to cover your carriers. Fantastic display there. I mean, both players losing bases. But at the end of the day, the carrier is too much on this map, and Light has to tap out. Whew, 195,000 points for Light, 218,000 for Horang2. Produced 500, killed 300, lost 400, produced 400, killed 300, lost 300. So pretty even across the board here. I mean, did manage to kill more than Light did, despite producing fewer units. So that's pretty good. Once again, does anybody know if Widow Mines show up on the units constructed and units lost here? I would love to know that. I really would. Both players losing a good number of buildings, 21 and 16 respectively. And then resources, end of the day, gas is virtually even. More minerals mined from Horang2 and outspent by about 4,000 resources too. So great job by Horang2. Like, he is a great Protoss player. Casting more of him is probably not a bad idea. Probably not a bad idea. I'll have to see if I can get some more of his replays. Anyway. Beautiful. Beautiful, fantastic PvT. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I hope you did too, because that's going to be it from me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. If you like what you saw and what you heard today, you can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching. You take care of yourself.